Football loves simple labels. Playmakers are artists. Strikers are finishers. Defenders are warriors. But every once in a while, a player appears who doesn't fit neatly into any category. Too strong to be subtle. Too technical to be just physical. Too intelligent to be reduced to muscle. That player was Julio Baptista. They called him the Beast. A nickname that made sense, but also hid a deeper truth. Because behind the power, behind the explosiveness, behind the goals and the fear he caused in defenders, there was a footballer far more complex than history usually remembers. This is not just the story of a powerful Brazilian forward. This is the story of a career shaped by context, timing, and misunderstanding. And this is also the story of where Julio Baptista is today. In 2026, long after the stadiums stopped chanting his name. Before we dive deep into one of the most misunderstood careers of the 2000s, take a moment, subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video, and share it with someone who remembers Julio Baptista only as the strong guy. Because this story is not about nostalgia. It's about understanding football beyond highlights. Now, let's go back to where it all began. Julio Baptista didn't look like a footballer. At least not in the traditional Brazilian sense. He wasn't skinny. He wasn't flashy. He didn't glide. He imposed himself. Born in Sao Paulo, Baptista grew up in an environment where football was survival. From early on, his body developed differently. Strong legs, explosive core, unusual balance. Coaches didn't see elegance. They saw power. And in Brazilian football, power has always been treated with suspicion. Because Brazil worships artistry, not force. At Sao Paulo FC, Baptista was not treated as a finished product. He was treated as raw material. A player who could be many things. Midfielder, second striker, box-to-box presence, but rarely as just himself. That ambiguity followed him throughout his career. Because football loves definitions, and Baptista resisted them. When Julio Baptista arrived at Sevilla in 2003, his career finally found oxygen. Spain was not expecting him. La Liga was built on technique and tempo. And suddenly, there was a Brazilian who combined physical dominance, ball-carrying power, a long-range shooting, tactical intelligence. At Sevilla, Baptista wasn't forced into a mold. He was unleashed. Spanish football didn't know what to do with him. Defenders bounced off him. Midfielders couldn't stop his runs. Goalkeepers feared his shots. Goals came from everywhere. Outside the box, late runs, set pieces. The nickname came naturally, La Bestia. But here's the irony. The nickname simplified him. People saw strength. They ignored intelligence. During the 2004-05 season, Baptista scored 20 goals in La Liga. From midfield, that wasn't normal. That wasn't accidental. That was a tactical weapon functioning at full capacity. Europe noticed. Real Madrid signed Julio Baptista in 2005. Galacticos era. Massive expectations. Zero patience. On paper, it made sense. In reality, it was chaos. Madrid didn't know where to place him. Left wing. Central midfield. False nine. Anywhere except where he was best. At Real Madrid, Baptista became a contradiction. When he played well, he was useful. When he struggled, he was limited. He wasn't given continuity. He wasn't given clarity. And football punishes uncertainty. Still, he delivered moments. Important goals. Physical dominance in big games. But never identity. There was one night in Madrid that told the whole story. A Champions League match where Baptista dominated physically. Scored. Assisted. Controlled the game. And yet, days later, he was benched again. That's when it became clear. Real Madrid didn't know what to do with him. When Baptista moved to Arsenal, expectations shifted. The Premier League should have been perfect. Physical league. High tempo. Space to run. But Arsene Wenger saw him as a hybrid. Not a core piece. Again, flashes. Again, no continuity. This is the key to understanding his career. Baptista wasn't plug-and-play. He needed structure, but also freedom. He thrived when coaches built around him. He disappeared when asked to adapt endlessly. And elite football rarely adapts to individuals. Back at Sevilla and later Malaga, Baptista found calm. Less noise, less expectation, more clarity. His game matured. He played deeper, smarter, less explosive, but more efficient. This was a version of Baptista few people remember. Because by then, the hype had moved on. For Brazil, Baptista was always almost a starter, almost essential, almost trusted. He played in World Cups, won titles, but was never the face. Brazil never fully embraced his profile. Too strong, too European, too functional. Julio Baptista paid a price for not fitting the Brazilian myth. He wasn't a 10. He wasn't a winger. He wasn't poetic. He was effective. And football history often forgets effective players. Baptista retired without drama. No farewell tour. No massive tribute. Just another sign of how his career unfolded. Underrated. Now, here's the part few people talk about. In 2026, Julio Baptista is no longer the beast. He is a mentor, a coach, a football thinker. He has worked within youth development structures, especially focusing on physical preparation without destroying creativity, helping strong players understand their identity, teaching balance between power and intelligence. He stays away from the spotlight because he understands its cost. Modern football produces many physical talents and destroys many of them. Baptista's journey gives him authority. He knows what happens when talent arrives before understanding. Clubs sign profiles instead of players. Systems ignore individuality. In 2026, his role is not nostalgic. It's preventative. He wasn't a Ballon d'Or contender. He wasn't a global icon, but he was something rarer. A player who forced football to confront its biases. Against strength. Against difference. Against hybrid profiles. Yes, but not because he lacked talent. Because football didn't fully understand him. And maybe still doesn't. Julio Baptista's career teaches one thing clearly. You don't need to fit the stereotype to succeed. But you do need the right environment. Julio Baptista was never just muscle. He was timing, context, power with thought. And in 2026, his greatest contribution might not be the goals he scored, but the players he helps avoid the same misunderstandings. Now, I want to hear from you. Was Julio Baptista underrated? Did Real Madrid waste his best years? Or was his career exactly what it needed to be? Leave your comment below. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a like. And share this video with someone who remembers the beast, but never truly understood him. See you in the next video. Because in football, not every legacy is loud, but some are powerful forever.